We've got such an incredible panel. Alisa and Ian Cairns, Jorja and Jolene Smith, and of course PT. I think if we can work their way over here, oh my gosh. How many memories did that film bring back? Oh my gosh. We'll talk about PT's mullet and all the other awesome stuff. So I can see Alisa and Ian coming out. Oh my gosh, holy flashbacks. Ian, how are you, sir? Alisa, hi. All right, have a seat. We'll wait for the others. I think they're making their way down. Yeah, Jolene. Jorja, come on. Oh, they're doing. Okay, we got photos. Pete, there's a lot of Instagramming. Oh, everyone's waxing nostalgic. So clearly this has been my favorite day of the Coast Film Festival. What an amazing way to, yeah. What could have been the Roxy twins, right?
Could have been the Roxy twins. What happened?
Yeah, we're the Roxy
What the
twins
hell?
now.
All right, so
We're still the Roxy twins.
In our minds.
I want to first open it up to the ladies. I mean, what an incredible movie, and to have your voices in it and your perspective. But first and foremost, the question, did you realize at the time the foundation that you were laying, or was it, I mean, you're out there, you're fighting for yourself, you're trying to make your mark. Were you present and aware of the impact that all of you three were having? I mean,
Well, for the OP contest, I think.
Yeah.
That just the presence. Like, did we realize? I don't even know if we even realized the impact, but I think we wanted what we saw the men were getting, right? Like, we wanted that. Like, we saw the men getting sponsorship, and we were like, yeah, we're gonna get that too. But for the future, I don't think we even realized we laid down that ground. Like, I don't think we realized that.
We were just really upset when we first heard that they were, not gonna have us there, and we were kind of stunned about it all, and we really didn't know if we could, do anything about it. So it was pretty amazing that, everybody kind of spoke up and.
Well, I think for the women, for us, it was a professional event in our own backyard. We were really upset that we weren't going to be included in our local area. And then we were like, wait a minute, the bikini contest is taking precedent over
and a riot.
Surfing.
You had a bikini
It's
contest.
just crazy.
One of the
And we were like, wait a minute, why are they keeping the bikini
Like, their
contest?
bikini contest is crazy.
And that's
Like-
when we were like, something's wrong. We need to. Well, this was before social media. We had to write to the newspapers, and we had to write to people, and we had to tell them, hey, something's not right about this. We need to take a stand. And
Yeah, we had to physically write letters, like mail them in.
And then
like,
hope that they get
like snail mail, like we're writing a letter to the editor, like snail mail. But what the crazy thing is, like, I don't know, we didn't feel like, I guess we didn't feel like we made a huge impact on what was happening, but we wanted to make a stand. Like, we wanted to make a stand. Like, no, this is not right. Like, the bikini contest is going on, and we're not. The bikini contest, no. Like, this is
I think in
crazy.
hindsight too, it's glaring, when we consider. But I think what's even more, poignant, like in the film, is that how many hurdles you would get to a certain point, and then you'd fall back. You'd climb to this level, and then they'd push you back down. So each generation kind of had to pick up where you guys left off. And Ian, my question is to you. Like you were present for the push, just even for the Australian push for Australia having a voice and a place in the sport. How cognizant were you at the time of what was happening for women's surfing?
Well, for me, I've always loved surfing with women. It just seems so normal that your wife would go surfing with you. And so why wouldn't every guy love to have a girl surfer as their girlfriend? And so it's just sort of...
Why not?
It's just...
Why not?
And so it was always amazing to me that there wasn't just total acceptance of women surfing when I was competing. And then when I ran the OP Pro, I started the OP Pro, there was always women surfing. And it's shocking to me that Bonnie Crail, a woman, when OP had a really big women's business, how she could pull the plug on a women's event is like mind-boggling bad business. And, fortunately, Bonnie Crail's off into the distance. She came and went. It was, just stupid. And
She's
so,
off in the distance because of our letter writing campaign.
Yes.
and I got to take my hat off because you guys fought back and won because it was right. The women should be in these events every time. And you see the women out surfing at Sunset Beach. Do you guys know what an ass kicking you get at Sunset Beach? Like, it's unbelievable. And the girls are out there surfing really great. So the women are absolutely amazing. And how well... Did you see that surfing at the end of that movie? Oh my God.
The level.
It was killing it. And so we saw the same thing, the platforms and the multiple plateaus you had to go to, one, 2 steps forward, 1 back in the men's surfing. And it's happened in women's surfing. And I'm just, this movie was really, really well done. And the personalities and of the women in, through all the way through surfing and the trials and tribulations, this movie did a really good job on telling the story.
Yeah.
I'm really proud that this movie's being held here in Laguna Beach too, since I've grown up, learned to surf here.
Yeah, West Coast. Woo.
No, we're definitely feeling the local love. On top of that, and you look at what's coming from other sports, ATP, like Virginia Slims, and how they fought on that front. But we're still seeing battles depending on the sport. The U.S. women's soccer team. I mean, we're talking within the past 2 years. The debate is still alive and well. It hasn't been put to bed. It's still alive and well. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
But the women are in a whole different place that we just never could have even imagined now.
Yeah.
And the tour's going to kick off at Pipeline. They're going to be surfing at Chopu and Sunset and really great waves and, getting equal prize money. So it's amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
PT, I want to ask, I know as a competitor and as a commentator, amazing mullet, by the way, in the beachside commentary.
Yeah, well, a fair bit of that footage that was in there was actually from my old TV show from the 80s, Wave Watch. And these 3 girls were all on Wave Watch. And so I did my little bit in the 80s. But I think one of the things you have to look back at that might have got missed is from Jericho's era. If you think these girls had it tough, you should have seen these girls. Yeah. They would actually turn up at a contest in like South Africa, and the contest might not even be on.
Yeah, we were talking about that right before earlier in the night. Here. Yes, please.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Our hero
there
right
were
here.
women in Africa for the first, World Pro Tour in 1976, which I won. But it wasn't even recorded. And what it boils down to is economics. And we actually didn't have companies that were sponsoring. There were only a few surf companies back then. So the women in our era, my era, Margot and Lynn and me and Relson, my best friend, I mean, we were doing it just out of sheer penniless love and joy. And just to get our butts around the world was interesting. I mean, I know you guys had it hard, but we laid that foundation, that lasagna.
Yeah, you totally do.
surfing
No, but
for you women.
Jericho, truly, but when PT came in tonight, I brought up like the stuff that I grew up seeing in the 70s. Lynn Boyer, you at Sunset, the waves that you surfed at Sunset in the 70s. Legit
Absolutely.
waves. You know what I mean? And it's like it wasn't at the frequency
Wide world of sports.
with how
Wide
many.
world of sports.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable the level that was surfing back then.
But I think one of the things that in this film, they did a brilliant job with this film, but Ian would be the first to tell you, because we were both so involved with trying to structure pro surfing in the 70s into the 80s, that it wasn't just trying to sell the women, it was really trying to sell the sport. I mean, it didn't come easy. I mean, Ian went and convinced Mike Parnell at OP to put the OP Pro on, which next year will be the 40th anniversary when that happened. And just to sell the sport alone, not just the women, to even get, even though it was completely unfair from a point of view of men versus the women, selling the sport was half the issue, right, Big Wall?
Well, I was thinking about this, and 1976, the first year of the IPS, that was 8 years after the shortboard revolution. And remember so it was just 8 years of shortboard surfing, and then
leashes.
there was a world tour. And then, no leashes, but there was no bodyboarding, there was no sailboarding, there was no kite surfing, there was no other derivative surfing sport, it was just shortboard surfing. So we were in the very, very early years of the development of surfing, and the fact that I used to borrow money to buy an air ticket to go to a surf contest. I had to do well to pay back the loan. And that was the level of commitment that we had in the early years of the tour. And so it was very, very tough. And, but look at where we've come. The men's tour, the women's tour, it's really, and just when we think about the times that we had, the pioneering times in terms of developing a sport like this, we should all just go, well, I do. I just look at this stuff and I just go, wow, we were there at the beginning, and look where it is now. And it all happened on our shoulders. We made it happen.
Yeah.
Can I pose the question? I'm just curious because there's some clips that did not age well. You're seeing some people say some things. You're like, wow, that's on tape. Are there? No, not mull it aside. But are there surfers you'd like to mention, pro surfers at the time, organizers, that they actually saw the vision and they were a supporter that needs to be kind of brought to the front? Anyone stand out? Were there any pros at the time that actually had your backs, or at least felt like they had your backs?
I feel like most of the guys were really supportive, of us in general. And then there was a few that were pretty loud and, saying you don't really belong here. But it was pretty cutthroat, and everybody would be dropping in on everybody, in the events. And kind of, as Wendy said in the movie, it's pretty selfish in a lot of ways. So a lot of the surfers were really just out for themselves.
I want to say something here. As I started the ASP. I was on the board of directors in the early 90s, and Alisa and Debbie Beecham were on the board of the directors of ASP for 10 years, and fighting those fights in some of the most, and the fights that they had against the male surfers who wanted to boot the chicks out the door every meeting was just absolutely mind-boggling in my mind. I was just watching this stuff, just going. So the grit and determination to hang in there for those meetings and fight back by Alisa, she's kind of gnarly, and Debbie Beecham. There's a lot of surfers there. You never saw any footage of those meetings where these girls fought tooth and nail with all the other male surfers and contest directors to keep women surfing going.
Yay, Alisa.
Yeah,
It's so much of what we don't see behind closed doors. But like I said, you've been a staunch supporter in having to deal with that pushback, right? I mean, you constantly had to deal with it.
Well, it's always been difficult to, put surfing on the map. But, the journey's been kind of pretty much fun. And
We had the best fun.
yeah, absolutely. And
Sorry, but
Yeah,
we
we
did.
did.
lifelong friends. I mean, surfing these amazing places. If you put it in perspective, that the life that we've lived has just been pretty spectacular. And so I'm in the mode where I'm really thankful for the opportunities that we've had. And you watch the journey of the entire thing. You cannot even believe the stories that each and every one of us could tell about our time on the tour. I mean, just absolutely unbelievable stories that
Right.
makes our lives rich.
Hey, Wally, the statute of limitations has run out on a couple of them.
Yeah.
We won't. No, we're not going to get into early Hawaii stories, and no.
We have stories.
Early bells.
We have stories.
Get into busting down the door days, and
we got some stories, but
badass here.
We all got
He's
stories.
like-
but tonight the night is about women surfing, and Alisa and I were surfing this morning at Pacific Beach with our son Malachi. So surfing is the hub of our wheel, and it's what we do. We wake up in the morning, and she checks Surfline. How are the waves? What's the tide? Surfing is such a magnificent thing as a lifestyle, and it's enriched us completely. And we've made, that we make a professional career out of it is sort of just like the cream on top of the cake here. But we just love to go surfing, and the fact that we've actually had the opportunity to compete on a tour, like be professional athletes, and then to, love doing it today. I mean, it's really just it's a gift for us having surfing in our lives.
Yeah.
And I say we all thank them for it, right? Can we do that, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like Jolene and I,
Twin power.
Activate.
twins. Jolene and I surfed today at Trail 5, and it was beautiful. Trail 5. Anyone out there for Trail 5 fans?
I'm more of a Trail 6,
Hey, we'd like
but
to
yeah.
thank all our friends from Trail 5. Who
Yeah, we
came
would
out
like
here
all
tonight, and all our friends and
All
our
our
family.
friends and family who are here tonight. But Jolene and I surfed Trail 5 today, and we're so lucky that we have each other and our friend group, and that we can just still get out there and shred. Totally
Shred is right.
Shred with all our friends, and we're glad that our friends are here tonight. But we are truly lucky that we had that lifestyle in the 80s and carry over into now, this decade. And we're weekend warriors. We work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and we're weekend warriors. But we can just get out there and surf with our family and friends, and we're very lucky. We're very lucky.
Indeed. I want to leave on this question. This kind of goes to everyone, because I know this whole panel here, multi-generational, from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and our next film is going to touch on it'll touch on the Olympic quotient and the story of Duke as we end the night with Waterman. But when you see what's happened, not only in equal pay to see that with the women, when you see Carissa Moore get the gold medal, I just maybe some thoughts.
She's an awesome surfer.
Yeah, some closing thoughts on surfing in the Olympics. Carissa Moore.
Well,
So lucky.
I'd like to really say something about that and Carissa Moore, because she's an Olympic gold medalist. How far has surfing come that we have
Yeah,
Olympic gold
amazing.
medalists?
Amazing.
And for America, it was a woman. And I can tell you something which might blow your mind, is that her income today that she gets, very small part of it actually comes from the surfing industry. It comes from mainstream Fortune 500 companies,
Yeah.
which shows you how far surfing has come. And I would argue probably she's the highest paid pro surfer in America today,
Yeah.
because of the sponsorships she has with people, like Procter & Gamble and Visa. And that just shows you how far women's surfing has come.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And she didn't have to win a bikini contest.
No, she did not. Had nothing to do with her Instagram. Absolutely nothing. Well, I think on behalf of everyone watching, I think we're going to give them a collective thank you, you guys. Thank you so much. Ian, Lisa,
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you for having us.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you.